The 1774 Alexander Rock House that we see and visit today is the product of hundreds of years of innovation, creation, and different families calling this space home. Today we're taking just a moment to look back over that long history of occupation, and it begins with the Alexanders themselves. Hezekiah, his wife Mary, their 10 children, and at least 13 enslaved people lived, worked, breathed, and died on this land. The house itself is constructed of 2-foot-thick stone walls and encompasses 4 stories. That's 2 main stories plus a full attic and a full basement. We believe there may have been a number of outbuildings on the property as well, including barns, a log kitchen, a spring house, a well of some sort, an outhouse, and a number of other spaces. Despite multiple archaeological explorations over the years, so far the museum has been unable to identify any slave quarters on the property. We believe anywhere from 13 to 17 enslaved individuals may have lived on this property. Hezekiah lived in the house until he died in 1801. His wife Mary passed shortly after in 1806. Their youngest son, Oswald Alexander, inherited the property that included the rock house. He lived there until 1826. When he passed away without a will, the house then went to his new wife, who quickly remarried their neighbor. It's unclear whether Oswald's wife and her new husband, William Lucky, ever actually lived in the rock house. After the Lucky family left the house, it went through a few other owners over the years, including Dr. Caldwell and his family, and then eventually passing to the Yandles. Now, Mr. Yandle had a little bit of a gambling problem, and there is actually a rumor that he sold off all the paneling in the house to pay back those gambling debts. In 1890, Joseph Reed bought the rock house. He had ambitious plans and made dramatic alterations, including adding a wraparound porch and replacing all of the floorboards. The floorboards we stand on today on the first floor are actually put in by Joseph Reed. Now, Joseph and his wife Rachel lived there until he died, at which point Rachel needed to make ends meet. So she actually rented out most of the rooms in the house as part of a boarding house until she passed away herself. Since Rachel and Joseph did not have any children, upon her death, the house actually went up for auction. You can see here in this newspaper that a house of Mecklenburg's legendary Declaration of Independence was up for sale. Eugene Cole was actually the last person to live in the rock house. Upon his death, he willed it to the Methodist Church for the purposes of establishing a retirement community, today known as Aldersgate. At that point, the house was in pretty rough shape. The stones needed replacing, the porch was crumbling, and lucky for us, the DAR stepped in. In fact, 7 chapters of the DAR banded together to restore the house back to what it would have looked like in 1774. And in 1969, the Hezekiah Alexander Foundation was officially formed. The first archaeological explorations were undertaken, and in July of 1976, the house officially opened to the public for the first time. Today, the Charlotte Museum of History is proud to be a part of this long history and this long history of preservation of this important landmark in Charlotte's history. We hope you will continue to join us for our Museum from Home programs as we work to uncover more of these stories, tell more of this history, and bring all of the stories of the people who called this place home to light.